Oh, hey.
Hey.
Didn't see you there. I'm Figure 8.
And I'm Young Ned.
We are Noise from the Void. And this is Cross the Street.
With Jimbo.
And soldiers, so I've seen too many kids grow old. I can't handle all the pressure, get a diamond out of gold. He asked me what I learned, I'm playing it fear. I said a couple thousand years and there's no planet here. But if I had to build a castle, then I'm playing it here. If I had to make a forest, then I'm playing it here. I'm not sure how the fuck these people manage here. Every bag is doing damage, there's some madness here. There's some sadness here.
All right.
Hey.
Hey,
How's it going?
we're Noise from the Void. Shit.
Figure 8?
Yeah, I'm Figure 8. This is Young Ned.
Hey.
You want to tell them a little bit about ourselves?
Yeah, we're a Portland local band. Hip-hop rock, I guess. Alternative.
Y'all have probably seen us before, and that's a little jarring, which is why we have this, to just kind of differentiate when we're not being Figure 8 and Young Ned and in the Antelope Fisherman. You know, this is we're about to do something different, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Right. We're just trying to do something. I mean, doing the throwback to the old fucking prog rock back in the day. Genesis wearing the big mask and stuff. I think we're kind of, even like Slipknot, I guess. Kind of like it you know.
We kind of sound like a mixture of the oldest generation of progressive kind of rock mixed with the sound and grunge of the 90s, and then as true to the hip-hop roots as we can on top of all that.
Right. And you got some rock singing in there, though. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. That I did the most singing I ever have ever.
And I mean, we've been doing this group, or we've been a part of this group for 6 years now.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like we pushed the Antelope Fisherman because it just felt like the right thing to do, but technically we started Noise from the Void like 6 months before the fish was even talked about.
I think we knew each other for about a week. Maybe
Yeah.
not even that long. We're starting a band.
Yeah, actually my first friend when I moved to Oregon invited me to his house, and as we were pulling up, he was like, one of my roommates is a musician. You guys might get along. And literally I walked out on the back porch and he was there and went, "You the rapper?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I showed him a tiny bit of my stuff and he went, "Want to start a band?"
Well, it's like it was like perfect timing too, because like I had just wrapped up my last band that it ended up falling apart. But I was probably bandless for
Disastrous.
a year-ish, and then out of nowhere, Fig shows up, and I was like, "Oh, I got to do something with this guy."
Yeah.
He was just super nice, and we just clicked right away. So we're like, let's start, whatever. Like whatever I think when we started the band, we were just like, whatever comes out of us, we're just gonna do it. Just who cares what it sounds like.
A lot of it wasn't feasible.
Right.
You know, a lot of it was us, we'd been confined to 4/4, 2-minute song structure, hook, verse, hook. So it was like 15-minute songs, no hooks, rapping nonstop, no breath, or
bunch of time signature changes and all sorts.
15
No,
time signature.
We were just trying to do some weird, and I was listening to a lot of throwbacks to the prog stuff I was just talking about. Back those days, 6 years ago, I was really into that stuff, so that, definitely was influencing me a lot at the time. Now I'm not, we're not writing fucking 10-minute songs now.
We've evolved.
Don't y'all worry. I think our longest song's like 7 minutes, but
those early days, we just didn't feel like it was feasible, which is why we did the end. Like, we didn't have money, we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't know any studios. But those days of writing really prepared me for I never thought I was that good of a rapper then. Like, I was confident I knew what it took, but I didn't think my music was very good. But like, I think more rappers should learn how to rap on different time signatures, even if you don't intend to do that in your songs, because it's like, it's harder. It's different. It makes you think outside the box. He used to have to like tap my back. You're used to, this is your time, and I couldn't get off of that. So he would have to tap my back into weird time signatures while I was rapping so I could stay on beat. Yeah, we did that for a really long time. So like, when we finally sat down to just make this album that we're about to release, it was a lot easier than it could have been.
Yeah, and a lot of the music part, like the instruments and all that, I actually, 2 of the songs I didn't, but the majority of them I wrote right when quarantine started, and nobody was going anywhere. We were all shut down, but everyone in their houses and stuff. So I ended up in that weird, I don't know what you call that self and whatever you call that. I was feeling like shit for a few months there, so I just wrote a bunch of music, and then I was gonna do some solo stuff with it, and then I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna, we'll work on it a little bit and we'll get something out, man. I think it was finally the time, and I'm glad we did because what we got coming out is pretty good. I think.
Yeah, it turned out. I mean, you were at the show. We did our first show. Antelope Fishermen present Noise from the Void, and the idea was, we don't even have an Instagram, a TikTok, of anything. No one really knows who we are. If we could throw a show and get an actual crowd reaction, a genuine people hearing it for the first time, we could gauge if this is something that we wanted to do a little more professionally than we intended, I think. And it went really well. You hosted it dressed as a wizard.
The Wizard of Wisdom.
We exceeded the capacity of the venue a couple of times. I just think we were always hopeful that it could bridge some gaps, especially in a city like this. But I don't think either of us expected it to go the way it did, which really lit a fire under our ass to continue. You got an ashtray for me, sir?
Yeah, I was very curious to see what people thought of just the music. I was really, because I mean, it's fucking almost like 90s rock with hip hop over it. And I was like, this might be just, another fucking Limp Bizkit or some shit. I was really hoping not. I think we have a little bit more integrity than that.
Yeah,
but
that's also what I was going to say is like a lot of rock rap. I love rock. I'm from the Midwest. Like my dad listened to a lot of rock and roll. I listened to a lot of rock and roll. My first concerts were rock and roll. But I've always been a rapper. So like it was always very different and separated to me. And whenever they combined like Limp Bizkit or Rage Against the Machine.
Rage is good.
Yeah, I like Rage, but it's still like...
but most of those rock bands suck.
Every version of it, whether it was good or bad, Beastie Boys, even shit I liked, it still felt like it was disingenuous to one or the other. Like, Rage wasn't really rap. Beastie Boys wasn't really rock. So, like, I wanted to actually do that. Like, pay homage to the people that we came up on that taught us, while at the same time, like, actually being rappers and actually being rock musicians instead of finding like a gimmick in the middle, you know what I mean? Like we're very proficient and technical musicians, I think, and that's a big part of what we were trying to showcase, but I don't think people from either of those genres necessarily know that kind of stuff happens on the other side.
Right.
So like if we can bridge that a little bit, I think, I'd be proud of what we did here. If we can get people that wouldn't have been at shows together otherwise, people that wouldn't be listening and fans of the same group normally, I think that'd be really cool.
But I mean, I'm just trying to make music that people like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also trying to be selfish about it too. I'm not trying to put in anything that's, that I'm going to hate. I refuse. But I'm also trying to, not make music that I want people to like me a little bit at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as much as we want to be true and original. And I think this project we did is a lot more, what's the word? It's not industry, but a little more, mainstream, acceptable. It's a little, it's more relatable than the kind of high concept stuff I think we plan on making as well.
Yeah.
But it still stays true to us. Like we might have songs that are pop songs on there, but you've never heard a pop song like it. We have songs that sound country or Western, but you've never heard a song like it. It's
we got I always call them our monk sea shanty. It's got that sea shanty swing to it, but he's got that humming going over it. It almost makes it sound like
hymns.
Yeah, I don't know. We try to do some weird stuff here.
Yeah, and I think something that Jim you've talked to me about is I moved here, so not only am I a local rapper, but I'm a local rapper who's a transplant. I didn't get 18 years of laying roots here and finding fans, so. Coming here, I was immediately 5,000th place as far as rappers go. There's a whole big-ass group of people making music out of here and a lot of real professional and excellent artists. So when you first get somewhere, you just are last. But when we do something like this, when we say we're an alternative rock rap group with, concept albums, this, that, and the other thing, we just are first, second, or third. There's just not a lot of other people doing it. So you get to exist in your own kind of lane, and I think a lot of people get trapped in a box, not just local artists. I think big artists do too, and you see that over their careers. Like when Lil Wayne tried to do a rock album, it was just a gimmick. A lot of people didn't respect it. I think it's his worst selling shit. So like this is stuff we're passionate about and wanted to do anyway, so we didn't want it to be a surprise later. I think that's also why I wanted to get it out now, so like it doesn't feel like a gimmick we're gonna do when we're 30. It's something we've always done. I think that's an important thing, is preparing your fan base for growth. Like, I know we're not necessarily artists that have a super specific sound, but if you just sound like one thing, anytime you try and deviate, you lose all the people you have. So if you can build people up to like the eccentricities that make you you, it's very easy to keep experimenting. And I think that's super important to us. We just want to experiment and make something new and that's good. It doesn't sound like everything else.
Yeah, and I think, especially with you lately, like the last 2 years, I would say we on a technical level, we're okay. We're not, but I think we have a very widespread. We have a large basket that we can pull from. Like, we're still going to try to do the rock rap thing. That's pretty much the middle basis. But I mean, we got a song on the album that's country sounding. We got a song on the album that's super poppy. We got a song on the album that's like prog rock. We got a song on the album.
There's acoustic parts.
Middle Eastern, like metal kind of stuff. Like we have a big pool that we can pull from. So we can at least. We can try a bunch of different stuff. Maybe eventually we find like our spot that we really like. But I mean, if we can just keep making different sounds, I mean, that's the noise from the void. It's just sound like that when we first made the band, we were like, whatever we come up with that just anything that sounds good. It could sound like a folk music. It could sound like whatever. We'll just use it. Like, who cares?
And he always talks about he's not, one of the most technical instrumentalist out there, and I don't come from that kind of music, so it's hard for me to be a judge of it. I've always thought he was one of the best people I'd seen in front of me and worked with, but I would say the biggest part of his talent lies in the orchestrating something. Like, he played every single instrument on the album, so if the song had 30 instruments, all 30 of them were him, and I think that's an incredible skill in itself. Like, a lot of people play drums, a lot of people play guitar, a lot of people play bass, and that's something I respect because I can't play any instruments. I can't even make beats.
You're making me blush.
And the fact that he can play all the instruments is one thing in itself, but I think being able to write and hear each thing on top of each other without it being there. It's hard for me to write a song without a beat that's done. It's hard for me to write unless it's its whole thing. So to be able to craft it from nothing and know what your drums are going to sound like, your bongos are going to sound like, your guitar, your extra guitar, your bass, your Spanish guitar, like, it was a lot more than I thought it was going to be, even though he told me it was going to be a lot more that we thought it was going to be. I still wasn't prepared for. It was incredible to watch. I'd never seen somebody have to go from the drums to the guitar to the bass.
Well, and a big part of that too is shout out Ryan, our recording guy. It would not sound as magical without him, for sure. It would sound like a bunch of instruments on top of each other.
He was definitely like a third member of the band, and he was lovely enough to he had a vocal coach present for me. So I don't know. I know a lot of people are used to me singing with auto-tune, and I have some pop songs I know I can sing, but I don't think anyone was prepared for this kind of stuff. Like, I definitely needed training, and I needed the help. So
no, even when I went into because I wrote the songs, the music behind them, and then we went into the studio, and he just kind of laid shit out. And on the first time we went to do the first song, we recorded months before. We just did the one song, and then we came back later and did the rest of the album. And even like the shit that he was doing on it was just like, what the shit? Like, I hadn't heard anything like that from you. It was just like, God damn.
And then the rest of the album, the other 6 songs, right?
7.
We had
total.
We had we recorded 1, and then we booked a week, 8 hours a day, every single day in a row.
5 days.
5
Not even
days.
a week.
So we were there for 40 hours, right? 45, give or take-ish. And he would do the instruments for like 6 hours, and I would be able to write that whole day, and then I would have the last 2 hours of the day to record the song. So it sounds really tied together, and I think that's easy in some ways because I wrote it all within the time we recorded it. But at the same time, it was like every day I was racing against the clock, I was like, shit, it's going to be my turn soon. I have to have all this finished and ready. And it's hard to write over just the drums, hearing that all day, and then just the guitar. So I'd have to do it in parts. I would have like half-finished stanzas and verses and hooks, but I really like how I've never made anything like that. I don't think either of us have.
The shit that you were doing, it blew my head. We did the 1 day of recording, and then when we came back to do the 5 days, that first day, I would say like the first 15 minutes, whatever Michael was doing, the entire room was like, oh no.
Yeah, it was.
It was bad.
It
Dude,
was bad.
And then like just something clicked, and then in that 20 minutes, you were fucking. It was the rest of the week was like butter with you.
Yeah, real talk. That first 15 minutes was embarrassing. Like, I can't see them. The booth at the studio we went to was far away. So I was in there, and I knew I was fucking it up. So I just kept being like, start me over. And my engineer was good. I don't like talking in between. I don't like fucking around in between. I don't like mixing in between. I just want, if I fuck it up, just let me keep going until you get it. Talk to me after. Or if something serious is going on, stop me. But he just kept putting me right back in. It was bad. Like, I could feel my hand shaking and getting a little embarrassed because I knew there was people in the other room hearing it. And then out of nowhere, I got it. And then for the rest of the week, I just had it. Like, it did not go away. I would need some help in parts, but it was never like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. But yeah, we had our first show before we had an Instagram, before we had anything, and it sold out.
Yeah, that was super fun. That was a good show.
We're about to have our next show is in Eugene. We'd like to try and get another
we think
one
our next
before
show
that.
is. I'm trying to get some music maybe before.
But right now, our next book show is in Eugene with FJ Outlaw. Shout out to Philip Steingel for that. Follow us on all the shits, bro. We're really trying to get this shit out. Noise from the Void on TikTok, NFTV Music on Instagram, Noise from the Void on Facebook. The biggest unexpected thing from this is the support from people. So many people since that show have told me that this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen people do in Portland. And honestly, we can't talk about a lot of it, but we're about to sign the band to a local record label that is literally being established just so they could sign us by some business owners. Like that's absurd to me. I'm super proud of everything, and I couldn't have done it without all the fish. Like, we couldn't have done that show. We couldn't have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. It feels like my life's work because it was something we always felt like we couldn't do, and it came before the fish. So it feels really full circle now that this is where we're at, and this is where we're seeing this kind of success. That like I fed my kids off of the money from that show.
Right. I
got to pay all my friends to do a show. I got to pay strangers, just people I was admired in the scene. So like, it really feels like something that can not just benefit us but the community. So I'm really excited for all the shit we're about to do, videos, shows, the whole shit. Much is planned right now. I've never had such organized professionalism in what we've been doing. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have our single out here soon. We're in the final masters of the album. So
Wasting Time, the first single from Noise from the Void. It'll be out within the next couple of months. Yo, shout out to Jimbo and Across the Street.
Hell
really
yeah! Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, you'll see more of us. We'll definitely be around. And I guess I just want to say to y'all, if you're thinking about doing something that's a little bit different, a little bit weird, you don't know if someone's going to support you.
Oh, do it, please.
Just do it.
Please,
yeah.
for humanity, we need new stuff. Holy crap.
Yeah, holy shit. If you can find a way to do something new, original, that is honest and genuine to you, and it's sometimes funny and stupid, and you get to do it with your friends, that's it. It's like the most magical thing in the world.
We need more risk takers.
Yeah. God bless.
Just as a reference, I had to share my voice so everyone knew I was alive. They didn't hurt me.
Jimbo was here. Yeah, I didn't kidnap
abduct
them.
him.
He didn't know what to ask us.
We swear we didn't abduct him.
Jimbo's locked in my basement.
We actually, anytime you see Jimbo now, it's
Why's
gonna
your face red?
Robot Jimbo.
Man, you wasted.
Oh shit, are we still on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Take us out.
Oh shit. I swear.
We are boys from the void. Detroit from the void. Some koi from the void. Making noise from the boys.
Yeah, what he says.
I got poise. I'm making noise. You can suck my dick. I'm with the boys.